Good morning, good afternoon, and good day to everyone as you're joining the webinar. We're about 5 minutes from kickoff here. This is Steve Anderson, and I want to just take a few minutes as you're joining. We'll do a few announcements as we get going here. So if this is the first time you've joined us, you're in listen-only mode. That means you should be able to hear us loud and clear. We cannot hear you. That's to minimize background noise. So that everyone can hear today. If you, throughout the presentation, when you have questions, you're welcome to enter your questions in the control panel on your computer. There's a bar that says questions, and you can go ahead and type out your questions, and then we'll address those at the end of the planned presentation. So feel free to do that at any time. A couple of updates that I thought might be useful as far as Crown Council news is concerned. First and foremost, Smiles for Life. We're off to an incredible start. The first $500,000 has been raised and is in the bank. I want to give a big shout out to Ultradent for their huge contribution and help to make Smiles for Life success with shipping out all of those materials, all of the whitening materials at no cost, no charge, including the shipping. It's just a huge commitment on their part. So, and we're excited about your participation and everything that you're doing. One thing that is new this year is the electronic portal where you can run their donation, and had huge response to that. Offices all over the country, they're using that electronic system, which helps a lot. That way, credit card numbers can stay secure, and things can be transmitted and kept a lot more carefully. So if you're not using the electronic portal for donations, for Smiles for Life donations, you're welcome to call Erin Zito at the Crown Council office, and she can help you with that. Just walk you through a quick tutorial on how to use the electronic portal. It's available to everyone and makes the donations a lot more secure. So keep up the great work in Smiles for Life. We are off to a great start. We're looking forward to the end of the month to the Dental Digital Marketing Conference. This is an annual meeting that we do where we bring together some of the best minds in digital marketing and dental marketing. The end of the month in Las Vegas. The hotel is sold out, and we always have a few more seats in the room for anybody who wants to make a last-minute dash to Las Vegas the last week of April. Love to have you. We've got an all-star program lined up for 2 days. The latest things that you need to know about how to successfully market your practice in a digital world. So join us in Las Vegas the end of the month. Next, in fact, if you want information on that, you can pull out your phone. You just text the word, I guess it's a word, is DDMC a word? Those letters, which stand for Dental Digital Marketing Conference. So DDMC, just text those words to the number on your screen, 801-599-4239. And you'll get a link to all the information for that meeting. Finally, Crown Council Annual Event 2019, fast approaching, coming up. All the information is at ccannualevents.com. One recommendation would be to go ahead today and get your hotel rooms reserved. The hotel for the annual event always sells out. So a good idea to get those taken care of now. You can go to the website, ccannualevent.com, and there's a link there to the hotel, the Red Rock Hotel in Las Vegas, where you can make your reservations. Get an all-star lineup for the annual event as well. It's going to be a great experience, and I look forward to having you. So with that, we are going to head and get started with our webinar today. So topic for today, one other thing, I forgot about Miles for Life. Coming up July 11 through 14, this is our annual motorcycle ride this year through the Yellowstone. And we can always add one more bike. So you can just text the word ride to 801-599-4239. Love to have any additional riders. So let me talk about the topic today and introduce our topic expert. This actually came as a request from a number of Crown Council offices, and is also this may be a best of presentation. Those of you at the annual event 2 years ago may remember Pam Peterson doing a presentation on the topic of dressing for case acceptance success. And that is our topic today, is dressing for case acceptance success. There is no question that what you wear can impact a patient's decision. It can either detract or positively impact. Pam Peterson is the president of the Total Patient Service Institute. Pam has spent an entire career in dentistry, and she'll probably share the various different outfits that she's worn during that career in different offices and the impact it's had on patients. She's been in hundreds, if not thousands of practices, interacted with thousands of team members, dressed in all kinds of attire. And what she's put together for us today is a manual, if you will, a success manual for dressing for success in dentistry, dressing for case acceptance success. So you're about to hear years of wisdom and a lot of fun as well as we talk about dressing for case acceptance success. Pam Peterson.
Thank you, Steve. All right, I am excited to be the messenger today for a very important topic, and no better person to go over this topic only because I've done it the wrong way, and I'm working every day to do it the right way through example. Before we get started, I'll take you back a bit. I'm going to take you back where I started. As a dental assistant, and it's a long time ago. Steve gets excited when I talk about this because he talks about the little white hat and the white pants because he thinks he's funny regarding the age, but we're the same age. And I'm forever young. So back in the day, I worked for the late Nate Hudgens. We had a really good relationship. He's a self-appointed guardian. He also thought he was my father as well. Well, I took it really serious when I prepared and got ready for work. And I have a creative spirit. Those of you know me on a personal level, you'll know that. You'll know that what you see takes work and it doesn't come natural for me. So back in 1983-84, so go back some. Some of you are saying, well, I wasn't born. Well, just pretend, ride along with me. So in 1983-84, I decided, what do I want to wear? What do I feel like on Monday morning? Mind you, we didn't have any guidelines in place, so Dr. Nath was very free, so we had creative freedom, and I was excited about that. So I picked out my red, white, and blue plaid pants. Man, these were favorite. When I saw them, they were calling my name. Yes, they were red, white, and blue, and plaid. This is a true story. So I thought, what do I put with my plaid pants? So I looked and looked, and I found a white, ruffled, white shirt to go with my red, white, and blue plaid pants. Now, on this ruffled shirt, I made sure that it was 3/4 sleeves so that I could get my lab jacket over it and so that I wouldn't have anything interrupting me being a great dental assistant. So picture me in my red, white, and blue plaid pants and my white ruffled shirt. My mom worked for Justin Boots. In the late 70s and 80s, Justin Boots was really popular in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. It was the place that you would go if you wanted cowboy boots. Today, it's no longer. So my mom worked there, so there was no shortage of cowboy boots. And out of my siblings, I was the only one that got really excited about them. So I had every color of cowboy boots you can name. So if you're thinking about what I picked out to wear to work on Monday morning, my red, white, and blue plaid pants, my white ruffled 3/4 sleeve shirt, what color boots do you think I picked? You guessed it, red. Blue would be understated. I wanted something with a pop. So imagine me, 1983-84, with my red ropers on, and ropers are the round cowboy boots that were really popular. So I had that on, my red, white, and blue plaid pants, and my white ruffled shirt, and off I went. So I was so excited. I showed up at work feeling fantastic. And with that being said, the moment I walked through, and my confidence was at a 10 when I walked in, because I thought I am looking great. So as I walked in with my plaid pants and my white ruffle shirt and my red Roper cowboy boots, the first person that I saw was Dr. Nate. And he was like, "Good morning." And he looked shocked. And the first time I thought, I nailed it with this outfit. He is so just taken away about the way I look. I nailed it. I said, that's why he lost all the color in his face, because he turned into a ghost. So we started working. And midday, right before lunch, he said, "Can I talk to you for a moment?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So I go to his office and he addressed me as sweet baby. Like I said, he was a father figure as well. And he said, "Can I talk to you a moment about some things that I am doing for the practice that I feel like you'll be excited about?" And I said, "Absolutely." He said, "I've decided that I am going to invest in uniforms for all of us." And I go, "Oh, you don't have to do that." He goes, "No, no, no, no. I insist." And I walked out not even having a clue that he insisted because of what I chose to pick out to wear to work. Now, fast forward, one of my favorite poets, which is the late Maya Angelou, she said, "When people know better, they do better." Today, I can do better because I know better, but I have a lot of help. And so I always think back where I was, what I didn't know, and what I know today. And so I'm constantly working on that today. And that's why I'm grateful that you will allow me to have this conversation. Now, many of you on the webinar, we know each other, we love each other, and if I don't know you, we would love each other if we knew each other. I am going to be completely transparent. I'm going to tell you things that may sound uncomfortable, and you have the choice to either accept it or deny it or decline it. But I'm going to talk about everything that you and I agreed on the initial day when we were looking for that perfect career. Are you with me? Sure hope so. All right, so you'll have to go back some. One thing that we have in common being a part of Crown Council is we are like-minded individuals. When we were looking for a place to work, we were not looking for a job. We were looking for a career. We screened the doctors that we work for almost as much as they screened us. So when we were on our search, looking online, applicant after applicant, looking for job after job, nope, don't want that, because after you see it, if you're interested in it, the first place that you would go is you'd look online, kind of check the doctor out, look at the reviews. Nope, not going to do that. And finally, after your search, you receive an email back and you're excited because it's the email that you wanted. It's the job that you were looking for. You wanted a great environment. You wanted to grow professionally and personally. You saw that this doctor was a part of something bigger than dentistry, where he or she invested in their team. So you thought, I finally found the place that I want to work, and they answered me. So after that, the next step is they wanted to know, when can you come in for the interview? You probably did the same thing as I did. I pretended, oh, I'm busy. Maybe I can do this day. Actually, I could do any day because I was wide open. I was looking for a career, not a job. And one thing that I can say that's good, because you're on the webinar today, you found the career that you're wanting. So now let's talk about preparing. So we know that the next day we're going for our interview. So we go into our closet and we have a one-on-one fashion show. You sift through rack after rack, and some of the clothing that you have, you forgot you had it. You were looking, you thought, I don't want this to be too flashy. I don't want it to be understated. It has to be just right. After you picked the outfit, you also went around the house and said, what do you think about this piece? Just to get feedback from your family members or friends. Next, what are the shoes that I'm going to wear? These shoes have to be perfect for the outfit. I want to make sure that I am comfortable and I am looking the part of this interview. So you put a lot of thought into what you were going to wear and what you were going to look like. Do you remember that? I hope you are still thinking about the whole process before you got where you are today. Now, it's a happy day. You're no longer unemployed. You are hired. You have the job of your dreams. your employer made a good decision because you are a good hire. So you got the job that you wanted. Now, many of you, just like me, when we're looking online, you could find a ton of information that says how to dress for the job you want, how to interview for the job you want, what are the do's and don'ts. Well, today, we don't have to talk about how to dress for the job you want, but what we're going to talk about is the ... How to dress for the job you want to keep. So this is, you want to make sure that now that you got what you want, what are the things that we need to do to keep it, to sustain results, so that we grow with the practice and not allow the practice to outgrow us. If you looked online, you won't find any information on how to dress for the job you want to keep. But today, we're going to talk about it. There are going to be 3 fundamental principles that I'm going to talk about. The first one is dress how you want to be addressed. The second, your first choice makes the difference. Feet first. Choose your shoes and everything else will follow. Number 3, aim high. I've never heard anybody say, I want to go to this party. Can you help me? I want to be underdressed. No, it's better to be overdressed. Allow others to rise to the occasion. So these are the 3 bullets that we're going to talk about today. Number 1, dress how you want to be addressed. Number 2, your first choice. What you choose first will represent everything else that will follow. Number 3, aim high. Allow others to rise to us versus us staying mediocre. So those are the 3 bullets. Now let's talk about where we are today. When dressing for a culture of success, there are many businesses outside of dentistry that really have this dialed in. If there's a business that feels like that this can be freeform, like the late Nate Hudgens did, you will have a headache like I almost gave him. It's really important to make sure that you dress for success by being what you sold. If you don't have anything in place as far as guidelines, which we're going to talk about, the one thing that you can bank on is if you present yourself every single day like the person that presented themselves when they interviewed, it'll be a win-win. So this image that you see on the screen, this is images of the Delta airline flight attendants. So Delta Airlines really prides themselves on making sure that the flight attendants know exactly what's expected of them. They know exactly what the attire should look like. They know exactly what the colors are. There's a girlfriend of mine, her name is Sean. Sean and I graduated high school. I don't get to talk to her often, but when I do, it's always meaningful. Sean was an eagle before I even knew what an eagle was. She always have driven for results and have done a really good job by herself and her family. Sean worked for a corporation in the DFW area for over 25 years, and she put her heart in the corporation. Well, the corporation started failing a couple of years ago financially, and they laid off massive amounts of people. Sean was one of those people. After over 25 years, she was laid off. Well, Sean had 50% of the peers she wanted advice from because they were telling her, your life's over. Then she had the other 50% was saying, go after your dream. Well, Sean always wanted to be a flight attendant. And the first thing that someone tried to ridicule her is, now at your age? She's like, this is the age to start living. So Sean proceeded to apply for the job at Delta Airlines. It was a rigorous process. The one area that, and by the way, Sean got the job. The one area where we talked about the most that I enjoyed listening to, she said that Delta trains for a full day on just attire. I said, just attire? She said, yes, a full day. I said, well, why so long? How many outfits do you have? She said, only 2. But they wanted to make sure that we understood what the colors were. You could only wear black, red, and sometimes navy. She said, nothing outside of that. I said, it took a full day? She said, yes. They wanted to make sure that they got their point across. So as we're going through this, I want you to think about, what are you representing? What's the image that you want to portray for your practice? And is it time for a tune-up? So now that we think about your very first day, and I appreciate you playing along with me. Some of you have been in the practice for 10 years, 20 years, 5 years. It doesn't matter, but today is our first day. We're going to do a checkup. I want you to take a look at what your practice looks like today regarding the people. Does your image represent what you want your patients to see? I know that there isn't an I in team, but there is a me, an M-E-E. So we're going to talk about me first. This has to be tackled individually first and second as a team. So individually first, if you think about your very first day, how you took the time out to groom yourself, pick out the perfect outfit, pick out the perfect shoes for your first day because it was really important. Are you that same person? If your practice needs to have a checkup, this is the best time to do it. Decide what your regulations are going to be. And the rule of thumb is take a look at your website. Whenever we post photos on our website of our team, the doctors, internally what our practice looks like, your patients is like online dating. You know, online dating, when you're not to do a disclaimer, but online dating, you actually can see what someone looks like before you actually click and say, I want to go on a date. Or your patients do the same thing. They check out your website. They look at the team. They love reading the bios. They call your practice. Your business team members do a phenomenal job. So the patient shows up and excited about their new dental home. Now, when patients show up, the person that's on the website, is that the person that's providing care? This is for you to decide. I'm going to give you the information and you will do your own personal one-on-one checkup. Who are you today, and are you representing what patients see based on what they can see on your website? And are you being the person that you were when you first applied for the job? Let's talk about a couple of examples. When dressing for success, under no circumstances is this about telling you your style has to be a certain way. This is about dressing for success, having the image of the practice that you signed up for. Now, when you look at this image, there's one woman that has sleeveless, cleavage. The woman next to her is not sleeveless, and there is no cleavage. Now, there's a time and place for cleavage, and I don't want to tell you where that place is. I do want to let you know that the place in your practice, cleavage is not welcome. And when you put on a shirt or a blouse, ladies, we know if cleavage is showing. And I'm going to ask at this time for us to make a commitment to be the CEO of dressing like you want to be addressed. Be the CEO of who you are and what you look like every day. The next image is a woman with a short skirt, and there's one that's a knee length or right at the knee. The one right at the knee length, is the appropriate length for the skirt. There's a place for the short skirt, just like there's a place for cleavage. And under no circumstances am I working towards stripping you from your style. We're talking about image, a professional image. So the professional image is zero cleavage and a skirt or dress that is knee length or right at the knee, not short. And I hope this is making sense. Now, when I talked about being the CEO of dressing like you want to be addressed, can you imagine what it feels like to hear or be the messenger to tell you when something is not appropriate? When something's not appropriate, the person that's having to have the conversation with you, they're not the only one that knows that the attire is not appropriate. The person wearing it knows it's not appropriate. So I'm asking you to step up, be the CEO, and dress like you want to be addressed, and make sure that you select the appropriate attire for your practice. So zero cleavage, and make sure that your skirt or dress is of appropriate length. Let's talk about slacks. You can't go wrong having 2 or 3 pair of black slacks that fit and it's comfortable to wear. You can always interchange a blouse, a top, or blazer so that it can give you different looks and still be professional. You see the pants on the left with the white boots. Then you also see the nice skinny pants with the really nice blouse and the pumps. The one on where you have the skinny pants, the pumps, and the blouse is the right way to go. There's a place for the white go-go boots and the pedal pushers or gachos, but it's not the place at your work. So that would be a going out for the evening or having dinner with your girlfriends. So you want to make sure that you always stay on the business side. Dress like you want to be addressed. All right, now I'm going to let this one simmer for a bit, and we're going to talk about each one. Now, there is dressing for success, and there is also looking like you are successful as well. Makeup, you want to make sure that the makeup that you apply isn't any different than the makeup that you wore initially when you interviewed. I'm going to keep taking you back there because you are the guide to all of this. This is not about someone dictating what you should look like. This is about holding you accountable for what the doctor and you signed up for when he or she invited you to join the team. You want to make sure that if you need help on color palettes of what makeup looks good, what makeup doesn't, do like me. There's always someone that'll help you. I am not ashamed to say that I get help. I get help on how to apply makeup. Do I have this on too much? Does this color match? So if you need help, there's always a fellow colleague or someone at one of the high-end department stores that will do it free of charge. Now, I want you to be leery going to the MAC counter. They love makeup, and when you're done, it'll look like this image. They love the heavier makeup. So you have to let them know, because I've done this before, that you want something light and business, and they'll be able to provide that for you. So you want to make sure that you are the CEO. You take a look at your makeup, how it's applied, and make sure that you're sending the right message regarding the image. The image in the middle, that would not be there if it didn't happen. None of this is made up. Occasionally, pants will fit too snug and your undergarments will show. No one should have to tell you, ladies, that your undergarments are showing. If my undergarments are showing, I would know because there's a draft. You can feel it. So you want to make sure that you wear the appropriate length shirt so that there is no midriff showing and there's nothing showing in the back. And your undergarments are always a secret. No one should know what color or what design undergarments you have on. The last image, when you see the beautiful woman with makeup, beautiful woman without makeup. A few years ago, Alicia Keys, the artist, she made a movement where she decided she was going to go makeup free. There's a couple of dental team members that decided that's a great idea. But the dental team members didn't decide it was a great idea because of Alicia Keys. The dental team members decided because of comfort. Comfort means we've been working together a long time. Today, I'm not going to push myself like I did yesterday or in the very beginning. Now, when you have team members that we've been together for a very long time and this movement starts, it's very uncomfortable for your employer, the director of operations, or the manager to go to someone and say, hey, what happened to your lipstick? What happened to your mascara? It's uncomfortable for them because it sends the message that you're not good enough. And I'm going to ask that you not put your employer, the managers, the director of operations in that position. I know what I sold. There are some fresh-faced days that I have, but it's never at work. It's rarely when I'm gardening as well because my neighbors may come over and I don't want to get caught. That's not true. I will have a fresh face when I'm gardening. So you want to make sure that if there's a movement that you are doing with Alicia Keys or any other artist where you decide to go makeup free, make sure that it represents your practice and the image is exactly what you sold when you interviewed. You want to make sure that this isn't a bait and switch, and I'm going to use that loosely, but it's true. My husband, Press, I use this example, and I want you to know that I married the best man ever. Occasionally on the weekends, when I've been traveling and I've worked, some days it's just a flannel PJ day, no brushing the hair, so my hair was going northeast, south, and west. He was watching one of his sci-fi movies. I walked across the floor, going to the kitchen to grab something from the fridge, and he went, "Oh, whoa, whoa, what just happened? That is bait and switch. That is not who I married." He thinks he's a comedian. So I share that with you. That wasn't a bait and switch. That was an off day for me that I was at home. At work, there will never be a bait and switch. I am going to continue to be exactly what I sold. And I treat total patient service tops as if I just got hired. It's been 16 years and I still try out for my position. I want to make sure that I'm growing with tops and not growing behind them. I'm growing with them or even being a step ahead. And so this is what I'm going to ask of you. If you need a checkup regarding makeup, your slacks being too tight where your undergarments are showing, and your shirt is too short where the midriff or your back, I don't know if back drift is a word, but I'm going to use it, or your back is showing, you want to make sure that that is corrected starting today. Go back to being the person that nailed that interview that the doctor said you must join our team. Third, if you choose to have a fresh face, make sure that the fresh face represents what you sold at your initial interview. A picture says 1,000 words. I know we embellish, but it's a really good image. This is not about stripping you again from creativity or style. Steve Anderson taught this at our Leadership Academy, and whenever we're at Leadership Academy, not only am I an instructor, facilitator, I'm always a student. I love learning every single day. I've learned a lot from a lot of you that are on this webinar today. There's a difference between stewardship and ownership. Ownership is defined as an act, a state, or a right possessing something. That's the doctors. They are owners. They have ownership. They possess the practice. The loan was in their name. The building's in their name. Everything's in their name. They put their neck on the line so that they could provide a career for us. So that's ownership. So, which means the buck stops there on a lot of the decision making. The next one is stewardship. That's us, me included. It's the activity or job of protecting or being responsible for something. I am grateful to be a good steward. I am going to protect it. I am going to deliver, and I'm going to be responsible for the things that are put in my care. You are just like me as the team members. We are stewards, which means if you decide, I would like to have some artwork, which means piercing, I want to have a visible tattoo, and that's not what you sold, I would highly recommend that you have the conversation with ownership, which is the doctor, which a lot of this is written out in your team manual before going and making the investment. Along with coloring hair. I know that piercing, tattoos is freedom. It's finding yourself. The hair coloring has changed as well. I've seen pink, red, blue, purple. Ladies have had a fantastic time with this. And it doesn't matter what your age is. I've seen ages from 10 all the way to 80 where they've changed the color of their hair. Now with us, when we are dressing for a culture of success, if you interviewed with brown, black, or reddish brown hair, a natural color, that's what you want to present. If there is a style that you want, figure out how to have that style without it imposing or interfering on the image of your practice. I'm going to give you an example. Now, I don't have any team members that I'm working directly with that have piercing. We do have some creative team members. All of you know Mary Beth Brown. I've known Mary Beth longer than I've known myself. Mary Beth and I have a professional relationship, and we also have a personal relationship. We had the personal relationship before my position, and she has been the one that's pushing me all along she's the biggest cheerleader. Now with Mary Beth keeps me forever young. She's cutting edge, she's exciting, she's daring, and that comes with the price tag. The price tag is, Mary Beth asked me one time, she goes, "What do you think about purple hair, lilac hair?" And I said, "Well, I don't." and we never talked about it anymore. Many of you know what an avatar is. An avatar is has swept the nation, where everybody loves to have these avatars. You can actually go on your iPhone or computer and create an image that looks like you, but it's an avatar. Mary Beth created an avatar, and guess what color the avatar's hair is? Purple. So she did great. She's able to live out and love and still protect the image of tops. So Mary Beth's hair isn't purple, but her avatar's hair is purple. You have to be willing to have conversations when you are in an ownership role, or if you're in a stewardship role and you have been placed as a director of operations or in management. And Mary Beth trusts me. She knows that I'm not going to ask her to do anything that I wouldn't be willing to do. And as she made her avatar's hair purple, I'm sure she had a huge smile on her face. So looking at this image, if the spirit moves you and you feel like you need to have multiple earrings added and it was not what you presented in your interview, I highly recommend that you hold back from doing it. If you feel like you need freedom on the weekends, go get some clip-on clippings, some that you can there's like a magnetic back. And so if you want to have a lot of piercings all over, go get the magnetic backs. So come Monday morning, you could take them off. Same thing for tattoos. If you choose to have tattoos and you want them visible on your face and your arms, and that's not what you sold, put on some fake ones and then take it off on Sunday night. A lot of you are laughing, those that know me, that I go to Miami every year without fail. And what do? Steve's going to probably lose his teeth when he hears this. He doesn't know this part. I put silver and gold tattoos all over my arms. Then I take them off Sunday night, and then off to work I go. So if you have the spirit moves you where you want to be creative, make sure you don't do it on the ownership's time. Be the person that was hired. Earrings, appropriate earrings is one piercing, not multiple all up the ear. You want to make sure that you're not distracting. We are in the healthcare business, so we have to make sure that we look the part. A lot of you are like, Pam, that's enough. All right, here's an example. And I'll more than likely I will send, well, he always eat healthy, so I can't really send him any food. This is Dr. Dennis Wells' hygiene team. This is what their website looks like. If you were to go to their practice and they were to treat your gum disease, this is what they would look like. If you went into practice for a healthy mouth cleaning, this is what they look like consistently every single day. So if you want to know, I look like this, what should it look like? These are some images that I've pulled from your peers so that you can kind of get a glimpse of what it should look like. Next, this is when sometimes the friendships may be a little shaky on this, but you always come back. The breaking news that I want to share with you, and this is a gift from the annual event. They gave this to me afterwards, and there it is. Leggings are not pants. It's a gorgeous t-shirt that says leggings are not, and not is, there's a line drawn across, our pants. And that is the truth, ladies. Leggings are not pants. Leggings are an epidemic. I've seen every color, every size, and this has nothing to do with body image. What this has to do with is it is not appropriate, successful attire in the business industry, nor is it appropriate attire in the health industry. Are they comfortable? Probably. I wouldn't know because I don't wear them. But it doesn't mean that you can't wear them. I'm asking you not to wear them to work. If you did not wear leggings, tights, jeggings, skedgings, all the above to your interview, then don't get comfortable while you're working with this great team of Eagles today wearing your leggings. This is not appropriate attire. Now, some of you may say, man, I'm not going to tell Pam anything. She may use me during our webinar. Anybody that I talk about, I got permission because it's the right thing to do. I got permission from Kelly on this one. Kelly works for Dr. Tommy Neighbors. She is phenomenal regarding marketing. Anything that you see on Instagram or their Facebook, it's Kelly. Kelly is in the right position in Dr. Tommy Neighbors' office. She's also a business team member where she is checking patients in, checking patients out, presenting financial arrangements, and she does a tour for all new patients like no other, better than any that I've ever seen. I want to go to his practice just for Kelly to give me a tour. A few years ago, while I was talking to Kelly, I was in their practice and I had another hygienist, and we were actually there for training. And I talked to Kelly about her attire, and Kelly had every every outfit of black leggings you can name. It were comfortable for her. She'd throw on her pumps with them, and we talked about it not being business attire. Now, today, Kelly wears, just like what you saw with Dr. Dennis Wells' team, Kelly, you will always find her in a nice pencil black skirt, nice pumps, nice blouse. She looks the part. When she made the conversion, she laughed and we laughed about it. And I asked her if I could use her as an example. She goes, absolutely, please do. And I am so excited because she looks the part. I talked about this at the annual event, Maria Granados, who was the director of Eagle U, we've worked together for a number of years. It got really sketchy. I could have lost my job at Eagle U presenting to the students because I talked. I said, Maria, I'm going to talk about leggings, and I'm not talking about you. She immediately launched into trying to negotiate with me. But these aren't leggings. They have pockets. Ladies, it doesn't matter if it has a zipper or pockets. The designers are creative. They're still leggings. Leggings are not appropriate attire for work. All right. Is that a deal? I hope you said yes. All right. So doctors, you're up. Now, this is male, female, but the doctors that you see on the image are going to be male. There are do's and don'ts. Now, when you see the one that's working, you may think, that doesn't happen. Well, if it's on the screen, it's happened before. So you want to make sure that you set the stage, doctors. It's not the right thing to do to talk to the team members, to tell them to step up and dress like they want to be addressed, or dress for a culture of success if you aren't leading the way. You go first. When team members look at their doctors, it sends the message of what should the image look like in the practice. So you go first. The middle image, doctors, we don't need male cleavage. We don't need to see your chest hair. The appropriate attire for a doctor, when you have on a button-down shirt, it doesn't matter the temperature, even in Florida. Make sure that you have an undershirt so that you can tame what's going on underneath. No cleavage. The last image is exactly what it should look like. So no to the casual with the flip-flops. No to the male cleavage. Yes to the lab jacket and a tie. And we'll talk more about the tie shortly. Dressed like you want to be dressed. Scrubs or no scrubs? This is an image of oversized scrubs. Now, it doesn't matter if it's oversized or the correct size. There are a lot of scrubs that sends the message of you're just a worker. Dressing for a culture of success, this is a career, not a job. I am a part of a mentor group for business men and women. And we were discussing this yesterday at our business breakfast that we have once a month. And I shared with them that I'm going to talk about a webinar, Dressing for a Culture of Success. One of the business owners, who is a CEO of a financial institute, he said, well, when you find out why dental people get to come to work every day in their PJs and it's okay, let me know. And I said, I will let you know. I will share that on the webinar. So the industry, when they see us in oversized or fitted scrubs, they look at us as workers and not a career. They do feel like PJs. So when dressing for success, this is what's recommended. Now, I will share with you the second part after you see what's recommended. That's no to the scrubs. Yes to Rosie. Rosie works for Alaska Premier Dental Group. Alaska Premier Dental Group has in place where they buy color coordinated shirts for all of their team members, and Their lab jackets are black and the slacks are black. They coordinate on which days they wear which. Rosie is a dental assistant. When you look on the website, on the image, and you go into their practice, this is exactly what you're going to see. What you see on their website is exactly what's going to treat you. She's a phenomenal dental assistant, and this is what she looks like every single day. Now, when talking about dress for a culture success, this doesn't mean for you to have a powwow and you decide how much money you need or how much money it'll take for us to look appropriate. I want you to go back to that initial interview. You looked appropriate that day and it didn't cost you one dime. It cost commitment, and that's what I'm asking for. We work with practices across the globe. Some will provide a great shirt and attire, just like what you see Rosie, and they will allot a certain amount that the team member is responsible for, and the practice will take care of the other. Then we have the other 50%, where when they are being interviewed, it is shared with them that it's the team member's responsibility to provide their own dark pants, whether it's black, gray, or a dark navy. And the top of choice must be a colored top. It could be all black or white. They are given that information at their initial hire date, and they are responsible for making sure that they provide their own attire for the job that they were just hired. And the practice will provide lab jackets. Either way you do it works. The goal is to be who you are when you initially applied for the job. When I talk about feet first, this is about comfort. It's about comfort and image. We don't want shoes that just to make a point where you have teeth on the bottom, or stilettos. Stilettos are with sleeveless and cleavage and a short skirt. There's a place for it. It's just not in the business setting. The proper height for a pump for a woman in the business setting is anywhere between 4 to 4.5 inches. This will allow you to work all day and not have to take your shoes off or have to sit down because your feet hurt. You also want to make sure that if you can go straight to the gym without changing your shoes, it's a good sign that you have the wrong shoes on. That's not dressing for a culture of success. So what you see, this is all no. When I talked about feet first, choose your shoes first and everything else will follow. This image is dedicated to Roy Hammond. All of you know Dr. Roy Hammond, our fantastic humanitarian. Well, Roy shared a story with me that I hold near and dear to my heart. I've learned and I'm learning quite a bit from Roy, and I hope it never stops. When Roy was practicing dentistry, he kept his best pair of shoes, one pair of shoes, at the office. He had one pair of shoes and he had a shoe shine kit. He made sure that his shoes were always shined and they looked nice. Roy practiced every single day in slacks, a nice button-down shirt, and a tie, and the shine shoes that he kept on at work. The message that is shine shoes, when he put them on, he knew that it was showtime. It gave him the confidence to sit down and talk to a patient of what mattered most to them regarding their dental treatment. It made him comfortable to not shy away from the cost because he was looking the part, he was confident, and he knew how to connect with the patient because he dressed for a culture of success. So feet first, think about Roy Hammond, men and women, what's on your feet and what follows. When you sit down and you talk to a patient regarding what matters most to them regarding their dental treatment, look the part and the rest will follow. When you look confident, everything else will follow. So my recommendation is pay attention to what's on your feet. Represent. When I was at the annual event, I had a doctor that hadn't been out of school long, and he came up to me. He says, "Pam, thank you so much for that." He said, "You see these shoes I have on?" I said, "Yes." They were boat shoes, and they were worn. He said, "These are my favorite shoes." And I've been trained to answer a question with a question. And I said, "Why are they your favorite shoes?" He said, "These were my shoes in dental school. They mean a lot to me. They got me through a lot." And I said, "They got you through a lot, and they're going to get you through even more." He said, "Why do you say that?" I said, I am going to recommend that you take those shoes, place them on the shelf, make sure that you put a note in front of them so that you never forget where they took you. Invest in a nice pair of shoes, leave them at work, polish them, and when you put them on, I want you to think about the investment that you made in yourself and how many patients you are going to take care of, because you are confident and you deserve to walk in confident. He was like, consider it done. So here's an example of shoes, feet first. Dr. Torno was a part of the webinar, the one I did at the annual event. His favorite shoes are Kohans. They feel good. He can wear them all day. He has every color, and he put himself on a budget because I think that he bought Kohan out. He got so excited about them, and because they look great on him, what do you think I did when I got home? I bought a pair for Press, and they're Press's favorite shoes. They look good, and they feel good. His feet first, and everything else will follow. Because if you dress to behave your best, you will absolutely will do it. It'll follow. So the last piece, you want to aim high. When I talked about aiming high, it's better to be overdressed than underdressed. I hear this often. Well, I don't want to go in and be underdressed. Always aim high. This is a tie or no tie. There'll always be an argument. It's your choice. I want to tell you the majority, and yes, you can tell Dr. Jeff Gray that I stole this picture and I didn't get permission, but it's a great image, isn't it? Dr. Gray looks like this every day in the practice. So does Dr. Hurtado. So does Ron Massey. There's a ton of doctors that you're all familiar with look this way every single day. So doctors, the one thing that I'm going to ask you when aiming high is, I have seen doctors aim high where they look the part, they have the tie on, they're dressed for success. I was in a practice not long ago at Bogert Dental. Every last one of them look exactly like this image where it's Dr. Gray, where you see the image next to Dr. Gray, where they have their tie on, their fun socks, and their nice shoes every single day. Now, because the doctors look like that, the next step is the team will rise with the doctor. It's not aiming high if the doctor looks like the image that you see, the doctor looks this way, and the team member shows up in wrinkled scrubs. You want to make sure that you match. Aim high. Bring your team with you. And I'm not saying sit down and break the bank, but decide, aim high, and bring your team with you. The image on the right, that's Dr. Dennis Wells' team again. The image on the left, this is Dr. Mari Carmen in the middle, and those are her team members on the side. One's a business assistant, one's a hygienist, one's a dental assistant. This is what it looks like on their website. If you were to go in and receive treatment from these ladies, it will look this way as well, with a lab jacket, of course. So let's do a recap. By looking at your practice and where you are today, are you dressing how you want to be addressed? What about your feet? The first choice. Does your feet represent the attire that you want for your practice? Number 3, are you aiming high? Are you setting the bar, or have you stopped and became mediocre? By these 3, I want you to have a powwow with your team. What needs to be done so that you can aim high? And remember, this does not have to break the bank. You spent not one dime when you interviewed. You looked the part. Your nails were groomed, your hair was groomed, you had the right hairdo, and you had the right shoes. So if all else fails, go back to the day that you interviewed. Coming in for a landing. This is the doctor, by the way. Where do I go from here? This sounds good, Pam. But what do we do when this wears off? Well, I am going to speak this into existence. Everybody that's on this webinar, I truly believe what we have in common is we're all eagles, and we want to be what we sold. So where do we go from here is personal accountability, and doctors, you cannot hide. I want you to help hold us accountable. You don't have to do like the late Nate Hudgens and buy uniforms. You can take me back to when I initially interviewed and the meeting that you're going to have after this webinar when looking at, does your practice represent what we sold when we initially interviewed? Make the decision on where you're going to go from here and hold people accountable. There are countless stories where I've been put in a situation as a steward because things were trusted in my care to make sure that I get it on the right track, get things back on the right track. There was a woman working on a Friday. Steve Anderson and I were doing we were just making our rounds showing a doctor a practice because they wanted to see systems in place. And a team member walked past us with, and this is a true story, with a baseball cap with rhinestones. I guess because it had sequins and rhinestones, she thought it was appropriate. And she walked by, and Steve looked at me, and I thought, oh, no. So I went behind her immediately. We had a brief conversation. Next, she was walking out the door with her things so that she could go home, hit the reset button, remove the baseball cap, fix her hair, and come back to work. Did it put us in a bind?
And I think
yes,
she was wearing leggings too, Pam.
So we had to send them for both. Thank you for that, Steve.
That's it.
So did it put us in a bind? Yes. But it would have put us in a bigger bind if I would have closed my eyes and pretended that I didn't see it and get frustrated. When you see it, ownership, you hold them accountable. Because there's great stewardship on the phone, doctors, I am banking that the team members that are listening, you will never have to have another conversation because they will be a step ahead of you. There's one other thing is the dry shampoo. I don't know who invented that. The dry shampoo and the headbands. The headbands are used when someone didn't have time to wash their hair. It's called a dirty hair day, and I'm not making this up. Eliminate the headband if you did not wear the headband when you interviewed for the job. My recommendation is, it's simple, wash your hair. I know that sounds harsh, but I am saying this to you because I care about you. Wash your hair, plan for the things that are important to you. You landed the job that you wanted. You're an eagle. Protect your nest. Show up, be the person that you sold. Take a look at your image internally, whether it's your clothing, your hair, your nails, accessories. Make sure you are being the person that you sold so that we can go from here. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, allowing me to be the messenger, and I am willing to answer any questions that you may have. You know where to find me, and I am looking forward to hearing success stories.
Perfect, Pam. Got a couple of questions before we wrap up. One of which comes from a male doctor asking if there is any alternative to a necktie that would be appropriate or would do the same job.
Other than and this will do the same thing if it's whether it's a necktie or a bow tie, tie or not. The doctors that I have seen without a tie, where they are uncomfortable with it, wearing an undershirt, and your shirt must be buttoned where we are not seeing male cleavage. And so it's still an appropriate look. In fact, if you look at Chris Hammond's photo on his website, his team has these great gray shirts on. Chris is in the middle. His shirt is buttoned up properly, and he doesn't have a tie, and it's definitely appropriate.
Perfect. All right, next question is, what is the appropriate attire for a female dentist?
Okay. The appropriate attire for a female dentist is the correct length. Most female dentists won't wear a skirt or a dress because it's uncomfortable when you are treating patients. Female dentists, no leggings or jeggings. Invest in nice slacks where there are dark colors, whether it's a dark navy, dark black, or a gray. And when you wear a shirt, because I do know that it can get warm underneath your lab jacket, when you wear a shirt underneath, if you wear a shell, not spaghetti straps where it's thin, no one should ever see that except for you in your office. Never leave your office without your lab jacket if you wear a shirt that is a tank, where it's sleeveless or spaghetti strap. Most doctors, female dentists, wear a shirt where they could actually wear it, whether they had on a lab coat or not, because sometimes when they're not treating patients and they're talking to you in the consult room, it's without a white jacket. So I recommend that you make your temperature comfortable in your office so that it will allow you to wear something other than a sleeveless shirt, so that you have the comfort in your own practice of taking your jacket off. Steve?
I'm sorry, Pam. Next question is, for doctors who wear scrubs, what's the appropriate look overall?
For doctors who wear scrubs, aim high. Invest in a nice pair of slacks and a nice shirt. It will boost your confidence. I can't tell you whether it's male or female. When you go in and you are just starting out and you're having to talk to a patient regarding their treatment, this will boost your confidence. So when you go in, you'll remember the investment that you made in yourself becoming a dentist. It was not easy, and you made it. So dress the part. Scrubs are when you are in clinic, in dental school, not when you're running your business.
Next one, what's your opinion on branded attire? Meaning everyone wears the same shirt that has the practice logo on it, and including the doctor who wears a nice branded polo or matches the team's shirts. Your opinion?
That I have seen that where it's successful. It is practice. It's practice by practice when looking at this. When I see practices that are doing this, if it's ever hard, it's because of the difference in body type. If you choose to go this direction, make sure that there are shirts that are for different body types. Not all body types are comfortable. The look is comfortable in a polo. If it's fitted where it could be for any body type with the branding logo, I think that's awesome.
Should dental assistants wear scrubs, or should they wear professional attire? Could you reiterate that?
Aim high. The images that you saw, whether it's the hygienist or the dental assistants, they are treating patients. They have a black or white lab jacket. They have black slacks and a nice shirt underneath. It's not long sleeve. It's a short sleeve, and it's not sleeveless. So if they take their lab jacket off, they still look the part. So aim high.
Last question, Pam. Do I have to wear a lab coat?
Now, yes, you do. This is OSHA standard. I had to think about it. This is OSHA standard. It's the right thing to do. Wearing a lab jacket, if you are uncomfortable, buy one that fits. If you are hot, crank up your AC. It's the right thing to do, and it's OSHA standard. It not only protects your patients, it protects you as well.
Perfect. Pam, thanks for your wisdom today, and thanks everybody for joining us for our webinar. Stay tuned. More webinars to come. Hope you all have a great day.